Good morning, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news at 9 for this morning, Saturday, January 11, 2025. PNP announces withdrawal of Lawrence Rowe as candidate for Central Kingston. Flights from Sangster International Airport affected by winter storm in the United States. Southeast Regional Health Authority SARA announces security measures across its health facilities following threats against healthcare workers. While in news from the region, Barbados to provide technical support, not troops to Haiti. On the international scene, LA residents warned to stay inside over smoke fears as evacuation era grows. While in sport, there will be several innovations in the upcoming edition of the West Indies Championship, which is set for January 25 to February 15. The details after this. The People's National Party PNP has announced that Lawrence Rowe has been withdrawn as the party's Member of Parliament candidate for Central Kingston. The party thanked him for his service to the party and his efforts in representing the people of Central Kingston. According to the party, its leadership has been meeting with Comrade Rowe and the constituency executive of Central Kingston during the period of transition, and it emphasizes that the constituency's interests are paramount. The PNP says it remains committed to ensuring that the people of Central Kingston receive strong and effective representation that serves them and uplifts their lives. Due to the winter storm affecting some areas of the United States, some flight operations at Sangster International Airport have been cancelled or delayed. Several Delta Airlines and American Airlines flights have been affected. Passengers are being urged by Sangster International Airport to contact their airlines for updates on flight departures prior to going to the airport and for rebooking. MBJ Airports Limited, operator of Sangster International Airport, is urging passengers to visit its website and its social media platforms for updates. The Southeast Regional Health Authority SARA says it has enhanced security measures across its health facilities following several incidents of threats being directed towards healthcare workers. On Friday, Acting Regional Director at SARA, Lascelles Brown, says there have been several recent incidents of abuse being leveled at staff at the Bustamante Hospital for Children and other health institutions. The threats reportedly stem from the death of 4-year-old Alexandriana Jones. Alexandriana died in December following an emergency surgery at Bustamante to remove a tumor at the back of her head. Her family is alleging medical negligence after they say an independent autopsy found that the child died weeks before the hospital pronounced her dead. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says a report on the incident has been submitted to the ministry.
I have gotten a preliminary report on the report that was submitted to the Chief Medical Officer. Had a discussion to try and understand the issues. The family will be called in for further conversations around the issue. As I understand it, the child came in with a serious brain illness and had to be operated on. That operation, which was a very complex one, led to the child being placed post-surgery on a life support system. And that would have had its own processes around managing the child's brain functions, which ultimately and very unfortunately led to the demise of the child. So the technical report is not suggesting the child had passed for days before being informed.
Dr. Tufton says he will also reach out to offer support, whether possible, to the family. I read it for you again. Dr. Tufton says he will also reach out to offer support to the family wherever possible. However, SARA says since the incident, abusive language and threats have been directed to healthcare workers assigned to Bustamante. It says all incidents of threats against the healthcare workers have been reported to the police. Dr. Tufton is urging those involved in threatening the workers to desist.
I must condemn the incident of threats being issued, as I am being told, to the staff of the Bustamante Hospital. This is something that is not something we should encourage at all or tolerate. The matter has been reported to the police for their own action and follow-up, and the security arrangements have been improved or increased to support the staff in carrying out their functions. And I want to just say to those who may be involved, may be grieving in the process, or support for those who are grieving, that this is not the way to solve or to resolve an issue.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Health and Wellness Minister. Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton says several channels to resolve the incident are available to the grieving family.
We have a grievance procedure in the public health system that allows, in the first instance, an investigation at the level of the institution, then the regional health authority, and then ultimately to the Ministry of Health, the head office, through the chief medical officer, if it's a clinical matter, and ultimately to me, where a particular report is given. Beyond that, there is also the courts, where persons can take action to report a matter and to bring whether an institution or an individual to the highest court of the land for a final decision. So that system works and continues to work. Nowhere in that process involves threats or indeed harm to any individual.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Health and Wellness Minister. 3 Haitian nationals, including an 8-year-old boy, were found in a dwelling at the St. Thomas and Portland border. One Jamaican male, 41-year-old Edson Thompson, otherwise called Neil, of Arcadia Road, licensed St. Thomas, and Audley Penn of the Ken Jones Highway, St. Thomas, were taken into custody for harboring the illegal immigrants. The Golden Grove Police is investigating. Works Minister Robert Nestor Morgan says work on the government's $2 billion emergency road patching program will be intensified over the coming days. In a statement on Friday, Minister Morgan says the work will begin across all 14 parishes within the next 4 days. Similarly, the National Works Agency NWA says activities will be ramped up to fix roads in Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew. Minister Morgan says key roads slated for patching include those in St. Catherine, South and North, Maypen to Hayes, Freetown to Alley, Malines Road, Pennants to Frankfield and Danks to Crofts Hill. It also includes Spalding to Cave Valley, Maypen to Sorsop Turn, Maypen to Poors, James Hill Road, Spanish Town Road, Manningsville Road, Mountain View Avenue, East Kings House Road, Manley Boulevard and Portmore. Minister Morgan says details about the ongoing projects and schedules will be posted on the Spark Jamaica website. He's urging members of the public to monitor patching activities and report their observations regarding the quality and locations being worked on. Meanwhile, the NWA says work began last evening along sections of Barbican Road in St. Andrew. Sections of this corridor have shown signs of defects and are to be corrected through the construction contract with China Harbour Engineering Czech. The work being done will be at no cost to the government and it is covered under the original contract. The contract for the widening of the road under the Major Infrastructure Development Program, MIDP, included a defects liability clause. The NWA says the work is expected to be done over the next 2 weeks. Attorney at law and spokesperson Hear the Children's Cry, Priscilla Duhaney, says children who engage in sexual activity should be mandated to attend church. Ms. Duhaney was opposing a proposal for sexual intercourse between consenting minors to be decriminalized.
It is not that we are saying they must be held into custody forever, but it must be that they can get suspended sentencing and they can then do community service. They can go, something should be mandated for them to go to church because we see that there is a breakdown.
You would want the court to mandate that the child goes to church?
Yes, because that is a lot of where we learn morals and good principles and upstanding ways of living.
The suggestion comes amid what's being described as an alarming number of sexual offences being brought before the Home Circuit Court for trial. The children's advocate, Diane Gordon Harrison, has urged Parliament to amend the Sexual Offences Act to decriminalise sex between consenting minors. The amendment would create what's called a close-in age exception, especially where children under 16 may have been sexually experimenting. Under the exception, children who have sex with each other would not face criminal penalty. Ms. Duhaney says Jamaica remains a Christian country and she believes it should play a role in properly grounding children.
For if our country is a Christian country, we have always said that all these years. It has not changed to my knowledge. And so even in spite of what some may believe otherwise, that we are slowly changing our views and becoming more open to other religious beliefs or no religious belief, we still have our line. We are still aligned to levels of Christianity. I believe that we need to put in place something that will allow for our children to be more grounded, to be aware of their actions.
Priscilla Duhaney, attorney at law and spokesperson for Hear the Children's Cry. She was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Friday. Meanwhile, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ Michael Jackson, says much of the objection to the decriminalization is grounded in religion and not evidence.
I think one of the challenges that we're having is that there's a lack of evidence coming from some groups regarding this dialogue, and it seems to be very religious based. And we are a country guided by the Constitution. But I find it interesting that we're talking about the preservation of innocence, but at the same time, we are going to be ripping the innocence from children to land them before the possibility to be landed before, to be landed in prison for an extended period of time, possibly. Because at the same time, I think that the dialogue is also asking for the possibility that the judge may give suspended sentence, but the sentence would remain what it is. So we're now turning the judges into social workers. Why not again decriminalize and focus on the social intervention?
She also questions whether criminalizing sexual intercourse between minors is the best use of resources being spent on children in conflict with the law.
When we look at the child diversion program and what it is intended to do, when you look at the number of offenses that I saw from the Ministry of Justice, some 730 offenses, right, in terms of children being diverted, 308 of them involve sexual intercourse with a person under 16. The possibility of those who could have been charged, not the ones that you heard in terms of the data recently, these are children who have been diverted, which means that they are not being charged. 246 were males compared to 62 females. So when you look at the child diversion program very quickly and what it is intended to do, you have to ask yourselves, is that the best use of resources when we see our children in conflict with the law that you want to prevent from going into the gangs and committing more serious crimes?
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, she was also speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Friday. In news now from the region, the Barbadian government has reversed its decision to send troops to Haiti, citing escalating dangers and insufficient strategic planning at the global level. According to Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kerry Simmons, Barbados will now only offer technical assistance, marking a significant shift in its approach to the crisis in a fellow CARICOM member state. Expressing concerns that the environment in Haiti has become more dangerous, Simmons indicated that Barbados does not want to take any chances at this time. On the international scene, Los Angeles authorities have declared a local health emergency due to poor air quality as fire ash and smoke blanket the area. California's governor has called for an independent investigation into how critical fire hydrants ran out of water and impaired the fight against the Los Angeles area wildfires. At least 11 people have been killed in the fires so far, and it's estimated more than 10,000 homes and other structures have been destroyed. The evacuation order has expanded near the Palisades fire as officials work to contain the blaze, which has raged since Tuesday. A forecast for more strong winds is raising fears that the blazes could spread further, and a red flag warning indicating critical fire conditions is in place. At least 6 fires are burning. The newest blaze, called the Archer Fire, started on Friday and is not under control. And now to sport, there will be several innovations in the upcoming edition of the West Indies Championship, which is set for January 25 to February 15. These innovations include the return of 5 first innings points in drawn matches, the use of the Kookaburra balls for 2 rounds, and at least 1 pink ball day-night fixture per term will be in place. The teams competing over 7 rounds of matches are defending champions Guyana Harpy Eagles, Barbados Pride, Combined Campuses and Colleges, Jamaica Scorpions, Leeward Island Hurricanes, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, West Indies Academy and Windward Islands Volcanoes. Both the West Indies Academy and the Combined Campuses and Colleges have retained their places as permanent fixtures in the championship following their impressive debut seasons. Guyana Harpy Eagles won last year's very exciting competition to earn their 7th crown in 9 years after heading into the final round with 3 other teams within the touching distance of the title. The first round games will take place in 4 host countries: Guyana, Trinidad, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Antigua. For the second and third rounds, play extends to Barbados, Dominica and St. Kitts. The second block of matches commences on March 5 with the 4th and 5th rounds scheduled to be held in Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Guyana and Antigua. The tournament resumes just under a month later with the first final 2 rounds in Antigua, St. Kitts, St. Lucia and Trinidad from April 2 to 12. Teams will be batting for the prestigious Headley Weeks Trophy and an attractive prize purse of $250,000 for the champions and $100,000 for the runners-up. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. PNP announces withdrawal of Lawrence Rowe as candidate for Central Kingston. Flights from Sangster International Airport affected by winter storm in the United States. Southeast Regional Health Authority SARA enhances security measures across its health facilities following threats against healthcare workers. Remember, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at midday.
You've just heard Nationwide News Now at 9.
Corian Solid Surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constance Ring Road. Telephone 755-1970 or 924-0437.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a